Welcome to the Collective Podcast. Excited to have you all here.
Yeah, week 6, I think. Is that right?
Yes.
Or podcast 6 at least.
It is.
We're rolling.
Yeah.
Last week overall, the Collective, we put in 384 installs. Our best week yet.
Let's go.
Every week
Let's
we're
go.
climbing. Top offices last week, Ohio number 1 with 114. There was a day last week, Dan, that Greenville came within 4 sales of Ohio, and I watched. Mike called me. He's like, "Hey, we need more housing." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "A lot of people think they're 50 men plus. They're actually at 38 reps right now."
Yeah.
But he's doing a big push. He wants to be at 50, so he's trying to.
So I mean, it's a hunt.
Yeah, no, for sure. They're posting on social media, getting guys out. That is actually really exciting because a lot of teams are adding a lot of people. So Greenville, keep pushing them. Greenville number 2 with 55. Oklahoma with 57. Those RMRs.
RMRs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Finance those suckers. Baton Rouge with 52. Raleigh 36. Charlotte 34. Columbia 23. And Charleston with 13. So, Dan, take us away with our
boom. Dinner goals. Ohio, Baton Rouge, Oklahoma, Raleigh, and Columbia, baby. So go out, do something fun with those teams, and enjoy that.
Yeah, like we said, a lot of people are coming. Mid-May, we had the big push of people coming. So I know in Baton Rouge, at least, they were like talking about like who we could have shadow because they have such an influx.
Yeah,
of kids
so many people coming.
Our top 10 vets last week, we have Bobby Turk. He'll be on the podcast a little bit later with 12. Jackson Powell with 10. CJ with 10. Zach Richardson with 8. Noel Meyer, not related to Ian or Isaac Meyer.
Nope.
With 8. Brian Davis with 8. Zach Brissett with 7. Joseph Chatelaine, way to get in there, man, with 8. Riley Sutton, great to see him back up top, with 7. And then Ian Meyer with 8 as well. So, really, you just need to have the last name Meyer, and you're
and you're a shoe-in.
Because a different person in the rookies also not related to any of the 3. So
yeah, that's fun to be in. Top 10 rookies. All right, Matthew Meyer, right at the top with the Meyer name. 6. Teresa Ramirez, with 5. Drew Williams with 5. Dominic Page with 5. Ray Warren, love that guy. Love talking to him on the phone, with 4. Keegan Schatz with 3. Peyton Underhill with 3. Blaine Ramsey with 3. Garen Kress with 3. And rounded it out, Elias Robinson with 3. So let's go. Freaking rookies. Keep rolling.
The rookies are getting a lot better. You can see with the numbers, the increase overall last week of the 384, over 100 of them were the rookie account. So on the podcast, or here in a second, you're going to hear Bobby talk a little bit about what's changed in him. As a rookie, keep getting better. Like I said, do not give up early. It's just a matter of it'll come, but you just got to put in the effort. So one thing I wanted to touch on last week, and I think this will help the rookies a lot, is your close ratio. So if you look at our top salesman, so Bobby Turk, if he passes a credit, 75% of the time he closes it. Last week, Jackson Powell was 53%, Zach Richardson 66%, and Riley Sutton 72%. Our rookies, we passed 496 credits. So you guys are hustling, you're working. 119 of those got closed. So we're looking at a 23% close ratio on that.
Yeah.
So just looking at data and stats, if you're struggling to check a credit, okay, we need to work on your door approach. If you're checking 10 credits in a day, your door approach is good. We need to work on your closing. So this week with the vets, I want you guys to pay attention to that on the rookies, because our vet close ratio is right at 43% right now last week. But look on that, and okay, sweet, we're getting through the walkthrough. Now, what am I saying to close? What am I doing to ease the tension? What am I doing to make it not such a yes or no? How am I assuming the sale? Working on that, I think, will help a lot with those things.
Well, and I think also it's important. It's hard in the moment to think this or know this, but that's why you need to evaluate. It's a lot easier to spend a couple more minutes closing somebody than going and hunting another potential sale, because you got to start all the way from zero. So just like Jackson's training, I think, and Bobby's going to mention it here on the podcast here in a second, making sure you get those 3 hard no's, because you just don't know what that iceberg looks like underneath and what that customer, what the challenge is or what the objection really is. So make sure that you're really pushing on that sale that you already qualified. You already got them qualified. So remember that.
And on that, truthfully, we're not in every sale, but on those 23%, I would assume a lot of them are like, yeah, that's a good deal, let's do it. And then the rookie finishes the sale. Versus on a vet, they're just taking the exit, okay? They're in their pitch, they transition in the house.
Yeah.
They do the walkthrough, transition to the paperwork. Okay, if we can't get a hold of you, who we calling next? You're just transitioning the whole sale. So practicing that with your roommate in the morning, on the ride home. Hey, this is where I lost somebody. What do I do here? That's the call I want is, hey, Brad, I lost someone at billing. How do you get billing? And then with your office, go over, okay, what are you doing to ease the tension on the billing? What are you doing to ease the tension on scheduling? How are you scheduling? Those little things like that, like I said, you'll go from, and like I said, we can go forward, I bet you money, by July 1st, when we go 496 credits are passed, the rookies will be up in the 40s to 50% close ratio on that. So doing that, I think, is important.
Definitely. All right, we're gonna cut to the interview
podcast
here. So let's enjoy this for a couple minutes. Guys, we have Bobby Turk, or as I like to refer to him, Turkalicious, with us today.
Fun fact on Bobby, he's actually Robert Turk the Fourth. He plans on keeping that tradition going. One day, some mean wife is going to stop the tradition, but I love it. So he's the fourth. Couple stats on Bobby before we get started. He was our top rep in all of the collective last week with 12 sales and installs.
Unbelievable. Bobby, we're going to dive into this because we got to dissect this a little bit more.
He has 20 on the month, 46 on the year. Talking to him last night, we told him we were going to pull him on the podcast today. He said he's made more money last week than he's ever made in his life before in a week. We were doing the total pay on a couple deals. A couple of them he made over $1,100 total commission by the time we factored in the back end bonus, which it was fun to hear him giggle on that a little bit. So, so I guess first question we have for you, Bobby. You are currently selling better than you did last year at our previous company. What would you specifically say is different that you're doing this year that's created the biggest jumps for you?
I would definitely say when it comes to having momentum throughout the day, I feel like when it comes to last year and just the year before, it really does come down to what you do from the start of the day all the way to the end of the day. As far as when you get up, you wanna have a conversation. You wanna train your voice just like you train your body. So when you're out on the doors, you have that momentum carried with you, and you can just carry it from each door to each door to each door. I feel like what a big thing that has kind of helped me as far as Brinks wise is it's a lot easier, as vets will probably know this, it's a lot easier obviously to qualify people. And as far when it comes to financing, a lot of people I feel like we're kind of hesitant to do the smart home pay. With Brinks, we have this in-home financing option where we can finance basically everybody, and we can make a lot of money on it too. So it's, especially with everything being new, when I was a rookie for ADT, I felt like it was just a new opportunity that I had to take full advantage of. And now that we're with Brinks, it just feels like we started over. It's a brand new opportunity that I can take advantage of. And I feel like I have that fire lit under my butt again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so starting early in the day, are you going to the gym every day? What are you doing in the morning routine?
Yeah, I was just at the gym before this.
Oh, perfect.
And yeah, so you're getting up early, and you're heading to the gym. That's pretty much the first thing you're doing.
And I'm talking to people, I'm having conversation with people. I need to get my voice going throughout the day. So when I get on the door, I'm like I don't feel like talking to anyone. So like I'll go talk to Caleb. Y'all know how Caleb is. Caleb will talk all day. So I'll go mess around with him. I'll just make sure I'm having a conversation at least till the meeting. It definitely helps my day go a lot better because I don't feel as like not as anxious, but I feel more sociable that I've talked to people already, and I can just go right back to talking to someone.
Yeah. Last night you were telling me that you felt like the sales rules allowed you to get more sales because you have the flexibility. Will you touch on that a little bit?
So with the flexibility as far as like the discounts we can do and the different packages, it's kind of crazy how you can do like 3 or 4 cameras and it can be around $80 a month for the customer. I mean, like me, if I had a house, I mean, that would just sound crazy to me. It's like really good deals we do now. As far as with ADT, I didn't do a lot of financing personally, so it was like I had to go down from equipment. Now I can just kind of just go up, and it helps me as far as getting more money on my deals, and helping the customer too, especially.
All right, I got another question, and I think this is actually a really good question for newcomers for being first year, the rookies, and the veterans that may be in a little bit of a rut. So, what are the top 2 or 3 things you feel like you're saying or doing at the door right now? Because you're just on point, dude. Like those victory photos, they just like it's guaranteed. Like I know Bobby is gonna have a victory photo at 4. I know he's gonna have one around 6, and he's gonna have one in the dark with the finger up. Like I just know that. So what do you feel like 2 or 3 things you're just on point with doing or saying to get to that level of consistency?
I feel like for me, I pitch more around convenience than anything. One good thing I like to say is like, hey, this is the time of year everyone starts getting those ring cameras and the cameras over the driveway. We just want everyone calling Brinks. It's not personal, it's just business. And then I go into building value. I'll say that every time, and I feel like it builds a lot more curiosity because they know like everyone's getting cameras nowadays. That's a good line I like to use that I feel like that has my process dialed
Yeah.
as far as gauging a customer, whether they would actually want cameras or not. Because when it comes to like me and the people I deal with now, I'm spending a lot less time with people who don't want it and a lot more time with people who are actually slightly, even like 1% interested, if that makes sense.
No, it does. I mean, I was talking to one of the reps in your office this week, though. They were struggling to get people to listen to them. So maybe, like, what are you saying at the beginning that's catching the interest? Because looking at your stats, I mean, you checked 16 credits last week, and you passed 16 credits, you closed 12 of them. So what are you doing to get people from the get-go to listen to you and then taking them through the close process? Like, your close ratio is crazy. So how are you not losing them in between?
Negotiating.
Questions.
As far as closing, well, I mean, I'll answer your question with the pitch. I'll always start off with the pitch like, hey, sorry to bug you. I just had a question. Are y'all the homeowners here? And then they'll tell me yes or no. And if they tell me they're not interested, I'll beat the objection. And if they don't let me go again, then I'm on to the next door. Like, I'm not wasting time. But if they're listening to me, I'm going to go through my full process and see how far I can get. And if I'm in the house, there's not a chance that I'm not going to leave without them at least feeling like they've shooken me down. Because as far as when it comes to closing, I feel like what a lot of people will kind of just go up far as when it comes to getting a deal is like covering the first month or covering the first 2 months. What I like to do is I like to negotiate, and I'll be like, hey, I'll ask them a couple questions. I'll be like, hey, like, I want to make sure you wouldn't do this just because it's a good deal. I want to make sure you do this because you actually found value in the program that we're doing.
Beautiful.
Then I'll go into them. I'll be like, hey, this is what I'll do for you, so you're getting the best deal on the block. If let's say they're paying like $82 a month, I'll be like, hey, I'll make your bill $40 for the next 3 months, as long as you can beat me in a game of rock paper scissors. and then we'll play a game of rock, paper, scissors. And they beat me every single time the customer beats me for some reason. And then I'll give them like $120 and their bill's $40 for the next 3 months. And I'll have it written down on paper. Like I'm not manually changing it, but I'm writing it down on paper, doing the math for them, giving them the money, being like, hey, this will make your bill $40 for the next 3 months. And then the rock, paper, scissors thing just makes it like it just drops that whole wall down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the pressure just.
Well, that's so smart. I think a lot of first years or a vet that's struggling, they'll run into where they're like pitching and doing everything great, and then they're making it to a point where the customer has to say yes or no. And there's a lot of tension there, and more times than not, the customer says, well, let me think about it. Can you come back later, etc. What I love about the rock, paper, scissors is it lightens the mood, and it forces the yes. If they're willing to play rock, paper, scissors, they're telling you, let's sign up. That's I like that. That's a good carrot.
So another really, I think, important question that I want to ask and help you explain where you feel other rookies or veterans and just reps in general are losing the sales that you're getting.
They're not beating the objections. I feel like if they would have just stayed and just like you really got to learn how to overcome these objections, even if it's just like little ones, like, hey, like I can't afford it. Like you really do have to know what to say to an extent, but it's not really what you say, it's how you say it. Mike trained on tonality a couple days ago, and I feel like tonality is a big thing. Like if let's say you tell me you're not interested, you don't want to go like, hey, no, that's no big deal. You want to like, hey, like that's okay. It might not be the best fit for you, but just so it makes sense, this is what we're doing. And then go back into your pitch, and they give you more pushback. Like just go by the 3-strike rule, like we always do. You know, if they tell you no, boom, go to the next one. But if they give me 2 no's and they didn't give me a third one, I'm gonna still go through my process. Like I'm not. I feel like people are just kind of afraid to be told no, and they're just waiting for a yes. And when it comes to them getting told no, it's like, okay, they freeze up, you know? So I feel like the moments where I'm most uncomfortable, if I sit in that, that's when I do well.
Okay. I like that a lot. I think a big thing for me is we talk about saying the lines, right? And I think that is really important. But there is, like you just explained, there is a tonality that has to be behind it. You can say the same thing very aggressively or like in a happy-go-lucky manner, and it has a very different, meaning behind it. And the customer obviously is going to receive it very differently. I think this next question, I think, is something we as leadership and management should be asking every rep now that's been there for 30 plus days. This is what we should be asking them. So I want you to answer this, Bobby. If you had to take a struggling rep and increase their production in the next 7 days, what would you have them focus on first?
Their routine.
You're talking a morning routine, getting on the doors, that type of routine?
Everything around the doors. Like everything before the doors and after the doors. Because it's all about momentum and how you carry. You need to like kind of just be able to go through your day almost because that moment that you stand still, like if you're just sitting in your bed all the way until the meeting, you're going to be standing on a corner hoping someone drives up to you and says they want the system. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the more you move your body
down,
that
apex predator is not going to be out.
Yeah, like you got to almost like not survive the day, but attack the day, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like
ecosystem.
Your routine, how the people you hang around and stuff like that, not as far as the job itself, but if everything else is going around you, you have no choice but to do good and at least get something done while you're on the doors.
That's perfect. We'll wrap this up because we don't want to take too much of your time and we don't want these to go too long. But a couple of last questions. So this is your 3rd year. Last night we were talking. We were doing some projections on how much, if you continue at this pace, what you'll make. You were giggling like a little kid. What would you say if you could start all over? We have reps right now where they're watching this, and this is their first day. There's a huge wave of kids coming. There's more kids coming that will watch this later. If you could start all over, what advice would you give to speed it up to where they don't have to wait 3 years to be a 12 account rep a week?
be overly obsessed with it as if there's no other option. Like that, you want to have that fire lit under your butt, if that makes sense. Like, you want to be overly obsessed with this to where it's like, this is what you're dreaming about. Like, this is what you're waking up in the middle of the night stressed about. You almost feel kind of nauseous because you have to go in the doors the next day. Like, if you're not feeling like that, then you don't want it. And I feel like I've felt all of that, especially when I started, and I feel like that's what at least helped me understand and just have this kind of nailed down pretty much. So you got to really want it. It comes down to what you can't expect things to come. You gotta be overly obsessed with this.
I love that. I mean, burn the boats, and hey, I mean, I think every great rep that we have, they had that moment where they're like, man, I don't like this. This isn't fun. But what else am I going to do? You know what I mean? Like,
I think you said something that is going to strike a lot of people as like, oh, I don't know, but normalizing anxiety, normalizing stress. Like, it is okay. You know what I mean? But we have to have that ecosystem like you talked about to combat that stress and that anxiety. You know what I mean? You got to have the game plan, right? But I think it's important in today's society with so much noise of, oh, well, if you're uncomfortable, then, you know, maybe it's not okay. It's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to be stressed. It's okay to have that anxiousness going on. I know that there was a 14-year vet that's super popular and famous on social media, and listened to him a couple years back. 14 years in, still has butterflies getting out of the car. You know what I mean? That's a good thing. That's because it's exciting still. I think when you lose those butterflies, I don't think you're hungry anymore. You know what I mean? And then you need to recalibrate, and you probably need to, you know, evaluate your goals in the journey. You know what I mean? So that's awesome.
Yeah, and then last question I have for you, Bobby. What are you most excited about with Brinks, the opportunity, what you've seen? Rapid fire, what have you loved, and where do you feel like it's taking you?
One, I love the merch. I mean, this was fire. I feel like my
good.
closet is like packed out now. At this point, I'm like, holy crap, it's only May, and I got too much stuff already. So that's one thing I like. I would say just like the process in general, the app that we use, it seems a lot more like a software. Like, I feel like Copilot would bug out a lot, and when it comes to BHX and just like the step-by-step process that we have, it's a lot more smoother. And as far as when you're showing the customer too, like, I can show the customer my iPad the full process and not have to be worried, because it's like it seems like it's for them and me, not just for me. If that makes sense. So it's a lot more comfortable to go through my process. I don't feel like I have to hide anything. Like oh, the social would pop up, or like it says that, like, it clearly says it's a credit check right there. They see it, you know. So it's a lot more comfortable to go through my process.
Yeah, takes pressure off.
Yeah, we were talking about that last night on the fact that you don't have to sign for the credit check. You don't need the last four of the social. You don't need the full social for finance. Things like that just make it a little bit easier. And then obviously the money. I mean, you're doing great.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy.
Which is great. So, you got any big plans with what you're going to invest in after the summer?
Caleb's going to help me get a property, and I want to pay off my truck. So that's the goal there. So
that's the why right now.
I'm excited.
Very exciting.
Hey, Bobby, we'll keep killing it out there. Keep crushing out there. We love you. We appreciate you. I love your attitude. Like I said, I love every day seeing Bobby just roll. I've been talking
photos.
I was talking to Mike, and I'm like, dude, Bobby is just killing it. And, you know, part of it, you always had a later start with school and stuff. And so you were playing catch up versus now you're in the lead. So
yeah,
keep that lead. Go be number one.
Let's go.
I appreciate it. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, dude.
Thanks, Bobby.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, and we're back. Man,
Bobby Turk.
Dude.
Turkalicious.
I kind of think it's the mustache. I mean, a lot of guys with the mustache are selling well right now.
So one thing we did not go over, we talked about, hey, what are you doing? He's getting into real estate. Most people don't know he's in nursing school.
Yeah.
So,
he's a smart guy.
You know, he's smart, very driven, but I think it just goes to show you, I think a lot of, I've heard recently, like, oh, I'm very like overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I think Bobby's overwhelmed, right? But again, he talked about creating that ecosystem, and it's just building the platform for success. Because when you do sucky hard things in the morning, it really is hard to ruin the day, because you're like, I've already done all the sucky things. Like, you're not going to say anything to hurt me, so.
Yeah, one thing I would touch on too, we didn't really touch that on with talking to Bobby there. If you look in like Ohio's GroupMe, there's a reason those guys, they're positive. You know what I mean? All of them are getting after it. They have fights. They have things. I mean, guess what?
Where's my segue?
Yeah.
I think we get that.
Don't eat my food. Things of that nature. But, I mean, guys, it's been raining and snowing
it's
in
cold.
April for there. You know what I mean? So, like, most of their victory photos, they're still in coats and sweatshirts. So, but it's a very much a positive culture of, we're going to get it. We got to be the best. Turn on the fire. Don't pick up before 9:01. I saw Mike that. He's like, I better not see anybody in the van before 9:01. I was like, that's what's pushing the culture to where you're going to sell one or two more a week. Well, you do that over summer. That's 20-something sales. It just adds
a lot
up.
of deals. Yeah, the paychecks are bigger.
Yeah, you hit the pay
back
jumps.
ends are bigger, and then the culture is bigger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what we've seen over the last couple of years with them. So I think it's a true testament, and to Mike, obviously, shout out to Mike Manhire creating that ecosystem that Bobby has just fed on. So,
and then the other thing pre-interview with Bobby that I don't think we touched on enough was knowing the sales rules. That's what he was talking to me last night about. He's like, I just love that I can go from 120 down to 70 or in the 50s with an old person. So knowing the sales rules, like I said, I know we've talked about them a lot.
We didn't talk about that enough. And this is like, yes, I'm calling everyone out. We don't talk to Bobby.
No.
Bobby doesn't call us.
Yeah, he
he will when he needs us. But he's got those sales rules down. He knows what to do. So that is just true testament to keeping that flow, and that will create those sales, right? When you sell more, right?
So that's a great quote.
Just kidding. But legitimately, that flow is there. And so that momentum he talked about, that's what he's created by knowing the sales rules.
Yeah, there's not a stop of, let me ask the manager.
No.
If I can do this.
With the volume he's produced, it's always wild. It's like Cole Hymas. You know what I mean? Like, man, we don't talk to that guy very much. He doesn't seem to have a ton of problems because he knows the sales rules. So, shout out, Bobby.
Till next week, guys. Keep killing it.
Take it easy.
Bye.